everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH After Show. Let's get into it, starting with Michael and Sasha. Now, it turns out that Cassandra injected Sasha with the bird flu, and Finn did discover it, and he's going to do everything he can to cure it. However, it's been so long that it might not be able to be cured. Here's hoping that it does, though. Now, also, Nina gets a text from Cassandra of the selfie with Michael and Sasha, and she is reeling, so much so that she actually shows her hand to Jax and says that she knows that he has a file on Cassandra, and she was pretty much done with him for like all of 5 minutes, and, you know, became his friend again when she realized that he didn't really have much of a connection with Cassandra because everything that he had on her was public knowledge. Now, of course, Valentin wants to track down Cassandra, and he was willing to pay Curtis like $5 million or something like that to find her, but he refused. Jax saw that conversation, and he put two and two together that Valentin hired Curtis to spy on Jax. So Jax fired Curtis, and now Curtis is willing to take Valentin's offer because he still has to pay for Jordan's medical bills somehow. Curtis, my man, be careful, you are dancing with the devil. Now, speaking of Jordan, she's actually back full-time at the PCPD as the police commissioner, which would have me sad, except she offered Mac a position to be the chief of detectives in the PCPD, so the Scorpio brothers are still riding. Hell to the yeah, Mac is back in the PCPD, I love it. It just feels right. It feels right for him to be there. Felicia was pretty happy with the decision as well because she's actually enjoyed running the floating rib on her own and has made some changes to it that she loves. And she knows that Mac loves police work, so this is a good thing for them. Alright, now let's discuss some of the lovey-dovey stuff that happened this week in Port Charles, starting with Sonny and Carly renewing their vows for the 10,000th time. I'm just so over it. Like, I do not care. It really hasn't been that long since they actually got remarried in the first place, so this was just dumb. But if I were to say anything positive is that they all looked great. And actually, on a technical note, the lighting was really good during those episodes, so that was cool. And of course, Sam dodging the bouquet was hilarious, and Bobby catching it, and Sonny making a joke about Scott. Hilarious. So good. Now, Sonny and Carly weren't the only lovey-dovey couple in Port Charles. Willow was asked by Chase to move in with him, and of course she said yes. Because, I mean, look at him. He is a beautiful man. Who wouldn't want to wake up next to that every day for the rest of their lives? Yeah, I would. I seriously love those two. I know that they kind of like go back and forth between playing Michael and Willow together, but I just want Willow and Chase. They're just too beautiful of a couple. I love them. I love them. Do not ruin them with Michael. He's boring. And quite frankly, if Michael were to jump ship from Sasha to Willow, he'd be an asshole. I mean, she's literally dying of bird flu right now. Plus, she did vow to be honest with him if she pulls through this. So, you know, we gotta see if she'll admit that she's not actually Nina's daughter to him and where that will take them in the story as well. Going back on Chase, he actually goes to Sonny to pay him a visit because his worker, Barry, has gone missing. And as you know, Sonny and Jason kind of ran him off and let him take the $10,000 or whatever it was and just, you know, start somewhere fresh. But they kind of implied that something might have actually happened to him. Sonny and Jason, I don't think actually killed him, but there's something sinister going on, and I think it goes back on Deb. I just do not trust that boy as far as I can throw him. Something is off. Alright, now let's get into the Franco drama, but before I do, we gotta discuss what I'm gonna call him. I asked you guys in the comments what I should call him, and someone mentioned Frank and Drew, and I like it, so I'm gonna roll with it. So, let's talk about Frank and Drew. Honestly, there isn't a whole lot to tell. I mean, he clearly still wants to live his life as Drew because that's who he believes he is. And of course, Elizabeth doesn't want to accept that. And that poor girl is just being put through the ringer. I mean, he goes to her house and wants to, you know about their life a little bit because he feels a little bit bad. But at the same time, he was like, well, you know, this is Franco's ring and I'm not Franco. And it's a married life that I don't remember. I only remember my life as Drew. Even Cameron couldn't get through to him. I just feel so bad for that family. What a horrible situation to be in. Now, Elizabeth is obviously desperate to keep her husband in town, as is Franco's father, Scott. They come up with a plan together to try to keep him in town legally because they know that the ankle monitor thing isn't going to last very long. So Elizabeth realizes that she can make decisions for her husband because he's not in his right mind right now. He's literally in someone else's mind right now. So basically their plan is to get him committed and keep him in Shady Brook until they can get Dr. Maddox back into town, which is probably going to take a while because Peter is probably going to do everything that he can to keep him out of town, away from Franco/Drew, in order to, you know, help Shiloh get out of jail. Did anyone else get super pissed at that whole like 30-minute fake out scene of him telling Maxie the truth only for it to be pulled out from under us? I knew it was coming because GH does this all the time, but it sucks that we get to see movement in the story and just have it taken away. This story would have been so much juicier if that's what actually happened, but instead we're stuck in the usual bull. Alright, but let's go back on Frank and Drew for a minute because he's still very smitten with Kim, and while Kim tries to reassure Elizabeth that, you know, she's not going to do anything, she wants Franco back to normal, I'm pretty sure that Frank and Drew and Kim will frig at some point because it's just too obvious. I mean, even Elizabeth didn't believe Kim's reassurances. So, you know, and Kim's a mess. She's a mess right now. She's gonna do it. Just watch. If you guys agree with me, let me know in the comments below. Alright, let's talk about Alexis. Now, Alexis and Neil finally have some movement in their little romance. She was caught by him checking out his dating profile, and Neil was actually like cool with it. It was like, you know what, you can just ask me questions. And they had a bit of a flirtation. It was kind of nice to see. However, Alexis has another story going on, and it involves a new girl named Kendra. Now, she is the mysterious girl that has been sort of reading articles on what happened between Alexis and Kiefer, and she decides to offer her services as a personal trainer, and Alexis actually accepts, but I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it's possible that she could be related to Kiefer. I mean, she could be an unknown sister that we didn't know about. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to give him a new family member at this point. His dad is dead. His mom just kind of disappeared. So, you know, this could be a possibility. What are your theories? Who do you think Kendra is? Let me know in the comments below as well. Now, beyond all this, everything else that happened this week was pretty much fluff. I mean, you had Hayden reminiscing on her and Finn's relationship. And there was Molly and Hayden talking about the Cassadine history. Molly was a little bit creeped out by that because Hayden said, I'm just as much of a Cassadine as Helena is. And like, while technically true, you ain't Helena, girl. Dustin met Lulu's kids, and Rocco already thinks Dustin is pretty cool, so I guess he's forgotten about his father Dante already. And Ava got a letter from Ryan Chamberlain in the mail, and she was, you know, freaking out over it. But Julian just says, you know what? Let it go. Let him go. He has too much power over you. And she just can't shake him. But yeah, that's kind of it. Let me know what you guys thought of GH this week in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will catch you guys next time.